Right, we'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. You have that in front of you. Any additions, deletions?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Right, we have a motion by Councilor Groba.
Second.
A second by Mayor Anderson. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes from June 22nd PETA meeting are in your packet.
Move on minutes.
There's a motion by Commissioner McBride to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Groba. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thanks. Public comment period. Any comments from our members of our audience? Thank you. Next item is the Treasurer's Report. Treasurer McBride.
Thank you. First we'll do cold weather testing. On the front page you see we had a transfer of $27,000 to KETA on cold weather testing account. If you turn over the page, we have an unpaid bill on JLR for their share of the internet access from Frontier for $1,193.40. On the next page, cold weather testing bills of $5,117.64. All the bills look within order. I don't have any questions on the bills. The next page over, if you look at the profit loss for June, net ordinary income for June, we're minus $26,048.58. And I think, was it Paul, we were saying that our JLR is delayed a little bit?
Yeah.
That portion of the income would be?
Yeah,
a few
their
weeks
annual lease payment will be delayed roughly 30 days
Okay.
Due to some new invoicing that had to be done.
All right. We have that income coming yet. So with that, I would support paying the JLR bill and the cold weather testing bills as submitted.
All right.
Second motion.
The motion and the second. Any discussion?
It's got one, and I don't know, for my clarification too, we looked at it, I think you explained it, Karen, but how do we split the Frontier with JLR and cold weather?
Cold weather pays 15% of the bill and JLR pays 85%.
Cold weather pays 15%?
Correct.
JLR pays the rest of that?
Right.
Okay. So that comes back in our reimbursement with our contract with them. All right?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
and Executive Director, the cold weather testing is continuing at this point, or some kind of testing?
Yeah, they're running durability vehicles, and typically they'd be done by June, but they will continue to run throughout the summer. In fact, they've cycled in they've sent vehicles back, bringing some new ones on. So I think this is going to be the new normal going forward, that they will conduct testing. They won't have engineers on the ground, but they will have vehicles and people running them locally going forward year-round.
So we have local citizens employed in doing the driving and other activities.
Correct.
Well, that's very good.
Is the coal box running?
No,
No.
they're just putting miles on. You can see they have established routes, and they're just running routes.
Yeah, I see them. I meet them. On the highway and in town.
Miles.
Yeah.
And maybe a further question, are any of them electric vehicles, do you know, or is that something I shouldn't ask?
That's coming.
That's coming.
That's
Okay.
coming.
All right, thank you.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the Kita does have a charging station or two.
We have a slow charging, 4 units, and then we have a fast charge. That
So 4 units for charging? Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Continue.
Okay, thank you. Kita for up to July 18th. We turn the page, you see we have numerous bills, and we have one bill that came in late. It's a separate addition to you, to the North Span Group for the abatement, cantilever abatement, tax financing, $1,143. I approved that this morning to be added. We have a total of bills of $13,256.17. Looking at, everything looks to be, of course, we have our monthly salary and benefits. We have a kind of a big one there to League of Minnesota Cities. It's pretty customary we have that coming through. I don't see anything else. If we go, turn to page 7. Profit loss for June, for July, excuse me. It's a minus $882.76. But the 15,000, Paul, that was just a pass-through for the housing study. We were the fiscal agent hosting that. Is that correct? Is that what that was there?
the 15,882. Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah. Oh, we got the housing study funding for 15,000 at the bottom of the page.
That's actually-
weather. Yeah.
That was
That's actually a transfer.
That's transfer from cold weather.
cold weather.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Housing study funding it pertains to May, which is $1,300. You look at May 18th.
It's 18,000. 18,000, right?
1,300. Look over at the May 18th.
Yep, okay. My glasses aren't good.
All right.
All right, we're good. So with that, I move the payment of the bills, $13,256.17. I think all the bills are in, correct?
All right.
That's my motion.
We have a motion by the treasurer. We have a second. Further discussion?
I just have one question. On page 9 on the reconciliation detail, right under the League of Minnesota Cities, which all of those made sense to me, but what was the 923 from Mike Hansen?
Mike holds his mileage and per diems rather than submit them. Is that correct? He holds them for, I think
this is 6.
for quarter, isn't it?
Quarterly.
For the
yeah.
quarter, he submits his quarterly rather than monthly.
Just didn't know what that was.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
I do the same with some boards I'm on, and the accountants don't like that at all. They want you to do it, you know, so they can kind of estimate the expense, I suppose. All right, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Thank you,
Yep.
Treasurer. Next item is the business park update with Mr. Roach. Right over here.
Go ahead. Oh.
We're moving forward. We're finally got more clay in the back. Got the back half pretty much filled up. Well, to where we have to be for right now.
Just for reference, Rick, Rick's talking about this lot here, and there's quite a bit of elevation from going south to north,
It
correct?
was like a 9.5 foot drop in there. We've got like 460 loads of clay in there as of right now. And we still have probably another 150 to 200 more to go to bring it up level. But we actually have it now. We got it so we can actually, when the building gets put up here, which we should be starting here in probably about 2 weeks, we should be starting to put all the concrete in. And then we can actually be able to get in the back doors and everything else. That's where we've been concentrating. The main fill is in the back where you're going in and out of the back doors on the building on to the north.
So Rick, you don't have to worry about settling there. Where your building's going to be is already settled.
That's done. Yeah, we ended up digging. We put it in first time. We ended up digging almost 7 feet out and putting it back in 1 foot intervals with the sheep's foot compactor and compacting it down to meet the compaction test.
So I know you hauled a lot in there because I could hear the boxes banging from my place.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of clay. We just.
And Rick, you're still looking at an 80 by 120 approximate?
Yep, that is the size of the building. We already got the building. It's already ours. We bought it, so that's waiting for us to get the slab down so then we can get it put up. So, and we're, like I say, all the paperwork, we're working on signing a lease agreement as we speak with the tenant for the building.
It's got, it will have water and sewer.
Water, sewer, electrical, everything in there, yeah. Sewer and water is supposed to be getting put in next week.
But where's the water and sewer at there, Paul? Do you know exactly?
It's on the north. It's be on the south side of the 22nd Street.
Yeah.
South side 22nd.
And then it also runs down Main Avenue. And that's what they're trying to figure out, which way they're going to supply it, off Main Avenue or off 22nd Street. That's the city's discussing that right now, which way they want to go with the water and sewer.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Roach, when you say you need to haul in additional loads to get it level with what, the street, or level with the surrounding area? I'm not sure I understand.
Leveling up with the street.
With the street?
Yes.
The height of the street. So you're below the street level at this point? Or just slightly
We are
above?
below the street level. Right now, the whole lot is usable as we speak right now. But to bring it up so it's actually so you can park the cars in the back half of the lot, we still got to bring it up probably anywhere from 3 to 5 feet in the very back. I'm assuming it's probably going to end, by the time we're done, we're going to probably have over 500 loads of clay in that property to bring it up so it's a usable piece of property.
Step up there for a second.
Yeah, that's really the challenge of that lot. I mean, it's kind of deceiving when you're standing on 22nd Street looking to the north, but when you get out on there and look down, it drops off.
Yeah, if you look, here's 22nd Street. If you look to the east, you come up to 2nd Avenue East and 22nd Street, and you have the South Falls Apartments, and you're right at the top of the hill. So you can see
Everything drops.
because the whole grade it's probably from here down to there, it's probably 2 blocks. It probably has about a 10, 12 foot drop.
Yep.
So you have the same issue.
And that's just from 22nd Street to halfway between there. Not even going to 21st Street. There's almost a 7.5 to 8 foot elevation drop just in that half a block.
But if you really want to take a look at it, you don't see as much out on the highway.
No.
But if you go to 2nd Avenue, you can really see what the grade is like.
Yep.
It takes a lot of fill.
A lot of fill. So, and then my concrete plans are supposed to be back tomorrow, so we should be able to start getting our footings and foundation and stuff put in here, I'd say, within the next 2 weeks. The building shall be going up.
And that's an 80 by 120 foot building?
Yep.
And Ricky, I really appreciate your investment. I know you've taken some time to do this properly, and again, there's some challenges with that. And this coincides nicely with, as we talked about at the Big Falls meeting, the additional acreage that we got going through the preliminary plat. We still have not scheduled a public meeting to invite the neighbors to talk about how we're going to eventually lot this off and how it's going to provide either access on 2nd Avenue, or if we're going to do a cul-de-sac. And now that we've got another interested party in one of these 2 lots, it's really good timing. We're going to have to also discuss at some point one other part. Because of the elevation change, we were talking about just extending these lots to the north because it's really not buildable.
Nope.
And there's wetlands issues, especially in here, that we would just extend all of these lots to the northern buffer zone, which is going to be about 50 feet here. So all this is kind of the timely part of this larger discussion. The other thing that we're going to, at some point we're going to have to address this paving 22nd Street because there's going to be a fair amount of traffic in and out of there on a daily basis, and depending on what ultimately happens here. But still, we need to address that. The other thing is, we're still wondering the fate of the old fisheries building. It's still tied up legally, but we're hoping that maybe we can look at a quiet title action or something eventually by the county to initiate some sort of quiet title action where you put it up for auction and do something with that building because it doesn't have many months left on it before it has to be taken down. So, and I know, Rick, you've done a lot of work up here stabilizing this, and you've had activity in here. It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, but I'm just sort of holding off on building a building up in that front half on the left.
Right, up here.
Yep.
So, I would anticipate in the months ahead there'll be quite a bit of activity in here, and we're going to hold a public hearing in August at some point, and just basically so we can let the neighbors know kind of a thought process. Nothing's finalized. We'll go through that process after that public hearing.
Well, Mr. Chair, Paul, back to the building that you spoke to, is that tax forfeit?
We're going to need a couple of attorneys on this.
Okay.
It is tax forfeit. However, the liens, mechanics liens against that over $370,000 still stay with it. And so that's been the hang up. Could negotiate with those lien holders. And I know Rick's tried to, has had communication with both the county and some of those folks involved about trying to do something because if this was available, Rick, I'm guessing that you could.
I would snap it up, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's.
And it's actually hooked to my building. That's the other problem. That brick building is hooked to my building in the front. Yes.
There's a breezeway, actually a block breezeway that's connecting the buildings. It wasn't finished, but it is physically touching.
Yep.
Eminent domain.
Huh?
Eminent domain.
Yeah. If that would work, we'd go for it right now.
I guess, Paul and Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I think it's something maybe that we should visit again with our land commissioner and possibly the county attorney, just see if we can get him movement on it. Eminent domain is not a fun thing to do, and I don't know how it would work when there's liens against the property.
Right. Yeah. There has to be a way we can satisfy that and get this out of limbo. And as I said, we have an interested party that would like to buy this, and basically there would be 3 different types of activity along those northern lots.
Paul, to the north, A, B, C, and D. Now you said that because of the slope of the terrain and wetlands, that you essentially were going to just kind of include those into the other lots.
That was a suggestion from both the surveyor and from some of the city folks. And if you get down in here, it's
wet.
It's wet. Everything kind of drains down into this area. This is still 21st Street. It's platted, but I don't think they'll ever be developed. So we were talking about if you put a 50-foot buffer on here and they're wet and low, we just don't see any realistic development along those sites. Rather than just extend them and let these owners at least extend where they can before they run into wetlands issues.
And then leave the trees in there to soak up the water.
You take the trees out, then you do a problem.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, back to the issue on streets then, have any of the 22nd Street or Main Avenue been stabilized in terms of subgrade correction?
I understand 22nd Street has. Main Avenue, I don't believe so.
Main Avenue hasn't been touched. There's just
Stakes.
Yeah. They've actually dug their.
Is this right there? Is it?
Yeah, they've actually got it just running out while the water for the water or the water drain, whatever, just goes back right to the tree line and just runs out. There must be a 10-inch pipe coming out there from the storm sewer.
So there is storm sewer, there was some subgrade work done.
Done, some.
Right, to this point, to establish that storm sewer, yeah. But we're working with the city.
And they're talking about continuing that loop, the water main going through to hook up into 21st Street on the other side there to get the water pressure up in that area. Because right now it just dead ends at the end of 22nd Street. The water does itself. So it comes down, goes right past Main Avenue, and at the end of the thing down there, where the green line is, it actually dead ends right there, and then it's just a dead end line.
So the city has talked about the possibility of looping those lines, tying them together for better pressure and flow.
Which would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll get that dead water building up on you.
All right, further discussion, questions? Thank you for the update, Mr. Rowe.
You betcha.
Appreciate it.
Let's stay on that for the brick building if we can.
Yeah, we can visit that.
I mean, if we have to find an attorney further down the line that wants to tackle it, we might have to do that too.
Yeah, I guess it would be helpful to have, maybe we send a letter to this county attorney and ask him if there are any avenues, if the property is tax forfeit, are there any avenues to deal with the liens that are against the property?
I know it's been to court, and I think the judge had made a ruling on it one time, but I don't really remember what it was. But
Normally you write it off on your taxes within 7 years, the loss of the building.
Those folks
Should have had written it off
well, that's
years ago.
Yeah, that's.
Well, but if I remember correctly, we had the land commissioner came in and spoke with us in the past about it and said that it was just in limbo. There was very little they could do, that they were going to send a letter with the county attorney. So I just don't.
I'm trying to get Bob to
Yeah.
ask the question to
Yes.
tell the attorney and the land commissioner, see if there's any movement or any avenues for us to move forward to
Check with that.
to get that going.
Yeah, the quiet title.
I had sent the quiet title one for one that was done down in southern Minnesota on a lake, and they had to cross the guy's property, and the guy gave them permission to cross the property. All of a sudden, he put a fence up, fenced it off so they couldn't cross it. Now, I never finished it to see how it ended. There was a big article in the Minneapolis paper, but I never finished to see the thing. I still got it saved, so maybe I should go on the thing and see if I can find out and figure out how it finally figured out. And that was basically the same thing. They took the land so they could cross to get to the lake, because that was the only access to it.
Should be able to just take. There's nobody paying taxes on
And it's falling into disrepair and stuff. Quickly.
Yeah, the roof is getting worse and worse by the year.
Tear it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth nothing.
That would bring it down.
At their cost, the lien holder's cost, their expense.
Use that as a marketing tool. Yeah, absolutely.
That might be an idea.
But I suppose somebody that would like to buy that project or that spot would kind of like to have that building there.
Leave it right where it's at, yeah. Put right where it's at and be done with it.
So back to Commissioner McBride's question about lots A, B, and C, where part of the lot is really unusable because of wetlands. And so if you were to, I'm not sure the terminology, convey them to the budding property owner, do you have any idea how many feet we're talking about there?
Well, yeah, we talked with the former surveyor and Ted Rokon and Ken Anderson about this. That these are 200 feet deep, and if you put a 50-foot buffer, so you're down to 150 feet. And this is really, you can't see from there the contours, and this is really wet right through here. I just don't see, and the elevation, you'd need a lot of material to fill that in. Plus expense with dealing with wetlands. But there are, like in Lot A's case, there is some room you could do something.
There should be enough room in there where I could use my loading dock coming out of my other building. Right now, I've actually, Nathan Heibel gave me permission to clear enough spot out there so I could actually get a truck and trailer into my loading dock, a 53-foot trailer, but you gotta jockey it back and forth 8-9 times to be able to get it in and out of the hole. It's still tight, and I probably went about 45-50 feet onto the property, cleared the trees out, put dirt in out there so I could get in and out. It'd take all of 100 feet to be able to go in and out of there properly.
And I talked to the owner of the RV lot here, and his concern was just encroachment. And with 22nd First Street here, and then this 50-foot buffer, he was comfortable that they would coexist.
And there's already a buffer on the west side of 50 feet.
Yeah, right.
Easement where you can't do nothing. You could clear the land if you wanted to, but you can't build or nothing else on that. So person might as well leave trees and everything in there too.
So inside Lot A, there's a 50-foot buffer established?
To the west. Right.
To the west.
To the west?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. It's
It was platted as an alley, I believe, wasn't it?
It's an alley easement through there because they said I believe they said there's some kind of utilities or something running through there.
All right, Chief.
It's complex.
Thank you very much.
More to come.
Good luck. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Personnel Committee report. The Personnel Committee met July 11th to consider salary adjustments for the Koochiching staff. We first considered Kyra Aspergen. Kyra was reviewed by Paul, and she received strong marks, both objective and subjective review. She has been able to successfully balance her various duties. She not only staffs Koochiching, but Koochiching's meetings and the airport commission, and handles all the functions with cold weather testing, including Jaguar Land Rover tracking and cold box documentation. And the SPDC meeting and reporting, she also works well with various boards and supports the public. So she received excellent performance evaluations in a review, and we recommended a $100 a month increase, which is approximately 2.7 or so, with increase from last year. Also reviewed Joanne Smith. She is her first year as a SPDC consultant, and Paul reviewed her and gave her very high marks in both subjective and objective. She spoke with Elaine Hansen from the SPDC, and they also tracked her activity, and she indicated that she had performed well. She also filled in for Kyra's maternity leave, handled multiple duties that she had to take on, and did a great job, and we want to thank you for that. And we also reviewed Paul, and he's had an excellent year with cold weather testing, and we know that those are new cold box. And so the average overall is about just over 2.5 average for the 3 staff people, and it equates to about $100 a month for each of Joanne and Kyra, and about $1,500 per month for Paul. So the Personnel Committee moves these salary adjustments effective July 1st, 2018. Do we have discussion? First off, we probably need a second.
So you make...
I made the motion.
I would second the motion.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, and then just, Kyra's work with the airport has been outstanding, and it's been, I can't imagine, and then when she was gone, that went over to Joanne, and I mean, that's been a real bear of a project to take on along with your other stuff. And when you're dealing with multiple grants and FAA and MnDOT and each one of them got about 10 people overseeing every dollar that's spent. I mean, it's a lot of work, and they both did a great job. You know, and then for Paul too, not just along with the cold weather testing, you know, Granite Digital project and the cantilever project with the tax abatements. These are new grounds that we're moving into, and it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of legalities and I's to dot and T's to cross. So, you know, thank him for his efforts.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you say what those, $100 a month for both Joanne and Kyra, and what was it for Paul? Per month?
1,500.
1,500 a month?
For the year.
You said per month, and that's what I'm saying, it's like $10,000 a year,
No,
that seems a
1,500
little
for the
excessive.
year.
No, I'm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was
Yeah.
correct.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't voting for
Well,
it.
Paul didn't switch.
Okay, 1,500 a year,
Yeah,
that's a lot
for the
easier
year.
for me to take.
But the other two amount to about 1,200.
Fair enough, I just wanted to make sure that was correct.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd like to echo what Commissioner McBride said. In the work at the airport alone was monumental in that just a normal operation of the airport, maintenance and all that goes into that. But then we had phase one that we are still in the process of trying to close out that grant of bonding and monies from MnDOT and the FAA, over 10 million. And we're now entering phase two, again bonding FAA and MnDOT monies that are going to be over 6 million. And we're further working on grants right now for the total rebuild of the runway, which will be a 4-year project. So, you know, just the airport alone would be enough to snow anybody under. And so, yes, I want to thank Kyra and thank Joanne for their good work there, and Paul in helping to assist in all of that operation there. So, just very good work. And then maybe one further item on Joanne. She just joined the Northland Foundation Board of Directors, which is a regional board, and that's great. And I know that you met with Executive Director, former Speaker of the House, Tony Sertich.
Yes.
So, who is the Executive Director of the Northland Foundation. So I think that certainly speaks well of her credentials.
I think it's, you know, when we have our employees working out in the public on other boards and commissions, I mean, it just bodes well for us and for Keita to be on top of this stuff and be in the limelight. And I know another one that Kyra served on the CVB board, you know, and we meet monthly, and she's got great input there. So the more boards and commissions we can get on, the more that we're involved in hearing the pulse of the community.
They all contribute in some way to economic development. That's what we're about. Further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Opposed? Very good, thank you. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you again for your work. I appreciate
I
it.
did
Paul,
have one question.
thank you. Yes,
Does that go retroactive back to January 1st?
July 1.
July. So you're on more of the fiscal year, better fiscal type. Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda is the director's report. Mr. Neville.
Very good, thank you. Well, it's a July 4th holiday, and a lot of folks on vacation. I took some time off, so it's fairly abbreviated this month. I want to start out again by thanking Kyra and Joanne for the work they do, and again, echoing the statements here. We've got a real good team, and Rick's still in the room. I want to thank him for his investment. I don't know how many days you take. You work all the time, don't you? I mean, you're basically 7 days a week.
Day and night.
Between 2 and 4 in the morning, he has off.
So those are the kinds of entrepreneurs we need to support in the county, and I'm excited to see this project moving forward. I'll just touch on a couple things. Cantilever Bridge and Distillery, and Hotel. The county attorney has reviewed the abatement agreement with Cantilever. You recall the city of Rainier has already done a public hearing as part of their abatement process and approved it. So now we move on to the county. That will be scheduled, I believe, at the next county board meeting sometime in August. So we anticipate that part of the process being concluded at that time. I talked to a couple of the principals yesterday. They're hoping to start foundation work August 1. There was slight delays in both the plumbing review by the state level as well as kind of modification of their original building plan. So things are moving forward. They continue to meet, and we look to see some construction getting underway. The housing study, Steve Greaser of Community Partners Research was in the area last week in the I Falls Rainier area in Little Fork, visiting with people and conducting interviews, gathering data. I think he spoke to some folks in this room as well. I spoke with them at length as part of his research for the housing study. He will continue to visit with folks throughout the county. I know he's going to Big Falls and North Home, and he'll be interviewing some folks from Birchdale area to get a real comprehensive view of the county and then the individual communities' housing needs. So that's progressing nicely. Some miscellaneous items. Packaging Corporation of America tour. I arranged a tour with PCA with members of the Regional Forest Products Alliance. That's a loosely based regional advocacy group for forest product manufacturers and forest managers. And as part of the tour, we had an opportunity to hear a presentation from the mill manager. I have to say, every time I've been through the mill and toured it, I always learn something new, and I'm always impressed by the scale of what happens there every day, just in terms of the energy, how much energy they use, how much wood they go through, and the efficiency of the machines that they're running now. It's unprecedented where they're at in terms of the percentage of efficiency and how they measure it. So always good to go through there, and the folks that went through were very impressed. And they've toured every manufacturing facility in our region, in the Northeast region. So all the mills and some of the sawmills. So and they will continue to advocate at the state level for putting up more wood and helping the industry any way they can. So it worked out well. Our e-newsletter went out last week of June. We tried to send that out to all you folks as well. We were represented at the Little Fork Northern District, Minnesota District Fair. We had some literature there in a little booth, both KEDA's services as well as the SPDC. And apparently a lot of folks took our materials. I was not able to, Kyra, you were able to attend one day? No? Joanne, I'm sorry. I was not able to attend. And just lastly, Summer Networking Social. We've scheduled it. This is our second social in partnership with the International Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's Thursday, August 9th, Thunderbird Lodge. I'll send out a reminder to the board members here to attend as well. And again, the function of that is we've identified that there are a number of people in our area that are investing in living here, and we want to reach out to those folks to thank them for their investment, but also to see if we can use their relationships, their experiences, and financial acumen to keep our community strong. So it was well received last year, and I'm getting good response initially from that. But we'd like to have a good mix of local folks as well as these people that are either here seasonally or retired. As well, I referenced that with Steve Greaser of the housing study, that we're seeing more and more of that, people retiring back to our area, either seasonally or year-round, and that's affecting the housing. And then the investment that you see up at, especially on the river to the west and the lake, and there are areas down by the North Home area too, where the lakes are attracting significant investment. So that's Thursday, August 9th, Thunderbird Lodge.
Thank you. Questions, comments of the director?
The study, Paul, on the housing, looking to be concluded by,
120 days from when he started last week, so that's the time frame we're working.
so it'll be November probably?
Yep. And he's going to come back up and present the findings. And
Oh,
yeah.
just a general question. I've been on this board long enough that I know how important cold weather testing is to us, and I've heard the comment come up from Commissioner Pavlik multiple times on how we had a cold weather facility that was in the works, and it got line item vetoed by Governor Ventura so many years ago. Would there be a need now to do something like that? Is that with as much information that you're getting sent to you about and having to turn away some business, if I'm correct in saying that is there a reason or a need that we could look into doing that in the future?
I think it would, and Rick's involved in this as well, and he can speak to it. I mean, it's not going, it's growing.
It's growing, it's not getting any smaller.
But to have a facility, once you get to that next level, the amount of investment and then the amount of maintenance and equipment required would be significant. I think maybe the best approach to that is if it was driven by a specific manufacturer that wanted to partner. It said, I want to, and that the likelihood of that happening is, at this point is kind of slim, but I just think once you get to that level, and that's part of the problem too. We've talked about this in the past with the public partnerships. Is that it's hard to finance something like that without a significant commitment of a 5-year, 7-year commitment to make that make sense. So I think it's something we continue to keep on our radar. And if a manufacturer said, I really need to get to this next level, I need this, that we can't help them with at our current facility, or Rick, can't help them. But it's a tricky one. I don't know if Rick, if you had.
I deal with Honda and Kia, and they're right now they're saying almost every one of the car manufacturers have a test facility of their own, like test tracks. Hyundai works with, I'm trying to remember who it was, Dodge, I think, and they have a 2.7 mile test track that they run their vehicles on in Michigan. They own it. It's all theirs. So a lot of that, they own their own stuff. It's just not where the cold weather's at.
Right.
And normally when them guys come up here for the cold weather, they're up here for specifics. They want this weather from this temperature to this temperature. And if it's over that cold or over this warm, it's waste. They're looking for their certain marks in between.
And the only reason I asked is it seems like we're kind of on a upswing in things in our community with the Cantilever project and the data center, and I know that we've been having situations where we can't in our area fulfill the needs for cold weather testing because we have limited space. And I just thought maybe this is the moment where we do need to start looking at a 5-year plan on if now we're going from, like you said, it used to be done in June and now we're staying through July and we may be here all summer. Maybe now is the time to start at least looking into a 5-year or 10-year plan on how we're going to advance business in our area. Just start the conversation.
I think that's a good observation, but like Rick said too, any manufacturer now that's building vehicles for a global audience they're either own their facilities or they're leasing, like Jaguar was leasing from Ford, now they're leasing from Toyota. The cost of, you got to scale it properly. The cost of building 2.7 mile oval anywhere.
And it's got a complete house, or they have street lights, stop lights, stop signs in the middle of that track. They have basically a town built for the stop lights, the street lights, everything is built in the middle of that racetrack.
So you don't think DNR let us do that out in the middle of that big field east of here?
If you can talk them into it, let's do it.
One time there was always talk of using the lake as a testing ground, and it was used a little bit for batteries and stuff like that. But I think it's like Paul said and like Ricky said, that everything's got to be so specific and perfect for their testing because it's got to be so controlled. Temperature has to be perfect. you know.
The other part of that is I was involved in that at the time and testified at the legislature, is that other cities, Koochiching was one, were competing and actually wrote a letter to the governor to veto, and because they felt it was unfair competition. And so that's in the way it works too, but I totally agree with you. I think we're moving along, and if sometime if we could see a larger picture, then
It's got to
more attractive. That
from private. I really believe
yeah,
that.
it requires, certainly it does, but it's always good to look,
Yep.
and always good to look to the future and see if we can plan, make some plans for the future. So appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, you know, we finance these coal boxes, and because of contracts, we've had them paid back, and the city and county have not, in fact, probably made money on their investments in terms of loaning dollars to the Economic Development Authority. I'd like to build on your thought there and get past the next month or two of the summer. I'd like us to schedule a special meeting, just maybe do some strategic planning around cold weather testing and where it should go, including folks like Rick or anyone else that we think should be involved in that. I don't know if that would help, but it just seems to me we need a strategic plan when you start talking 5 years.
Well, I ended up, this last weekend, I spoke to Representative Eklund specifically about this. And I just said, you know, I've heard in the past that this has happened. It was line item vetoed, and he was very aware of that, obviously, as well. And he said that in the next couple of years, it could be something that could be pushed through if he's championing it. And I really think that we're coming out of this funk that we've been in as a community in the past 5, 6 years, maybe even 10 years. I think we're starting to go on the upswing, and I think that we need to start building now for what's going to happen in 5 to 10 years. And if not, in 5, 10 years, we will be looking at what we should have done rather than, you know, what we've done. So it's just a conversation piece I'd love to see explored moving forward.
Good, thank you. Next item is city and county updates. We'll begin with the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Start out just by talking about the July 4th celebration. Continues to attract former residents, citizens of the area, and visitors. Thank you for telling me about your relatives that came here and experienced the July 4th celebration. And I think it, you know, it certainly is a great summer activity, an event that still has a great deal of patriotic value as well as community value. In the city and the area, everyone knows the number of projects that are underway, especially with regard to streets and highways. Many contractors in the community, and every dollar that comes in is economic development. Last week I attended the Northeast Minnesota Area Transportation Partnership meeting in Mountain Iron, and there MnDOT reviews all of the highway projects that are going on in District 1, which is the Duluth District. As well, we hear activity at the Port of Duluth, and then the airports. And Tom Werner, the manager of the airport in Duluth, gave a presentation on the airports in District 1. Of course, the Duluth, Hibbing, Chisholm, and International Falls are 3 of the primary airports in the state, and so we were highlighted in his presentation that he made to the Transportation Partnership. The partnership is made up of members of all the cities over 5,000, every county, county engineers, and then all of the MnDOT people. So it's I would guess there was probably 30 to 40 people there. Coming back home and talking about our own airport, work is continuing on the electrical vault, which will be the new vault that will power all of the activity at the airport, including instrument landing services, the VORs and all. And then all of will be included in that building will be the new fiber optic to service all of the computers that everyone will have in operation at the airport. So that we've got to get that electrical vault completed, and hopefully the old terminal will be raised by the end of July to begin phase 2 of the international terminal that will be constructed. So that a lot of activity out there, just a lot more to come. And then as we're working on the rebuild of the runway plan, Thor Anderson and I will be going to St. Paul on the 26th of July to meet with the FAA, MnDOT, the airlines, to discuss the possibility of using the taxiway for a runway starting in 2021. So yeah, we're kind of looking out there already. So, but that'll be a 4-year project to rebuild the runway. Do want to just mention that I have had 5 businesses contact me regarding the need for employees. We seem to be challenged here in the summertime to find enough employees to take care of everyone's needs. So kind of interesting. And then just lastly want to highlight the continued investment in the community by Sammy's Pizza, which has now opened, and folks have had an opportunity to visit there. Certainly a nice addition to the community, and a considerable investment there also.
Good, thank you. Mr. McBride.
Just the dollar figure preliminary on the 4-year airport project, I think it may be $30 million?
30 to 35 million.
Yes, that's a massive undertaking. And I'd just like to thank the city on their 4th of July celebration. I commented to the mayor here last week on the fireworks. They were outstanding. It was a really lot of fun. And some people say, oh my gosh, they go through so quick. Why do you have to do it in 15, 20 minutes? But even the city of Duluth, as big as their celebration is, their fireworks last 20 minutes. They have to do it and have to get done with it and get, because you got to get people in and out. And it's the same with this little town here. I mean, Keenan Drive and Highway 1171 after the fireworks, I mean, for 20 minutes you can't move. It's gridlock. So anyway, and I have relatives come up too, and they thoroughly enjoy the small town 4th of July celebration, because in Minneapolis, St. Paul, you don't get that feeling. So it works out good, and it works great for North Home and Big Falls. They have a great celebration, and Birchdale too. Just like that, maybe Wayne just touch on talking. The weather here has been great, but 20 miles south of here in Southwest, I mean, it's just been torrential rains, and I don't know, Wayne can maybe touch a little bit on that. We've had some damage to some county tax forfeit lands, and what that looks like and what kind of process that is.
Well, I think Nathan's going to come before the board at the next meeting and propose a quick intermediate option to pick up some of the blowdown. They flew just the other day, and they've got somewhat of a handle on it. It wasn't as massive a one as it was before, but there were a lot of spots that there's quite a bit of wood down. And so that is a major thing, and I think he was hoping to be able to move along. I shouldn't speak for him completely, but to move along, and I think have a sale before Labor Day if things would move that fast. And yeah, there were some big storms.
It just makes it a real problem for them. We've got sales out there, and then also right in the middle of the sale you have a blowdown, so it was not in the loggers' plans to get in there for a couple of years, and now you got to get in for the wood.
Yeah.
Wood's only on the ground for a few months, and you have to get at it.
I think there may be some sales coming back because the county has a policy. If there's certain, I believe there's 30% damage in a sale, that you can bring it back, and so that's all going to have to be factored in.
But also, thank goodness for the skill of the truck drivers and all the people in the city with 332 being tied up, the traffic downtown and the big logging trucks. I mean, I have not heard of any issues. I don't know if the mayor's heard anything.
There's definitely a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. So.
One other thing, I was at Big Falls City Council, and their park is progressing, but they have had a little bit of a glitch now. I think that they have to have an archaeologist come in and look for possible early ancestors or and stuff. And so I don't know where that's going, but anyhow, they are going to have to look at it.
Wait, that's what they have, like $1 million grant. How much is
I
it?
think so. I don't know. Paul probably knows the figure better
more
than me.
More than that.
Was it more than that?
Yeah, I think too.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have to, the state requires a historical survey.
Yeah.
It's part of that.
Archaeology.
But
I think that's additional cost too. I think that's like,
it is, and that's a cost that is not covered by the grant.
Yeah.
The city of Big Falls has to cover that cost. But there is some disturbance down there, and so where I believe where it's been disturbed, it's not an issue, but where there has not been any current human activity, I think those are the areas they have to look at.
Well, I think when we went down to Big Falls for the meeting, I mean, 4 of us, or I think we were all there, and we went on the little tour of the park. I mean, obviously that had to be an area that for hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of years, that area had to be used because it's a beautiful spot, and you know, the waterfall, and
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to find something.
Yeah. What if there has been current human activities there? It's not quite as much because what was there may have already been disturbed and moved, and it's not in a natural state there. And so that is happening. I guess when you talk about fireworks, you should talk about real fireworks. The Northland's fireworks.
Coming up, is it?
Yeah.
That's the county fair, right?
Yeah, it's probably the biggest fireworks in Minnesota.
What are the dates of the county fair?
I don't know, Bob. I saw it came out and it's
Which part of August?
yeah. I hate to bring it up because I
Okay.
wasn't sure what the dates were.
Yeah.
but,
10 through 9, 10, 11.
yeah, okay.
9th, 10th, 11th?
Yeah.
Yeah, the night of the 11th, Saturday night is the night of the
It's
fireworks.
the night of the fireworks.
Okay.
And you have traffic for a mile both sides on the highway.
Yeah. I have to say, have you ever been to Disneyland's fireworks? They're peanuts.
You're going to beat it, right?
They are peanuts compared to this.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the challenge sometime and get down there
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I've been to the fair a few times, but
Challenge
it's been a few
accepted.
years.
Yeah.
They have food there too, Harley.
Yeah.
Done.
And I have been in contact with the Brochet people in the last little bit again, so we'll see what takes place there.
Thank you. Mr. Droba, any additions?
No, I just accepted the challenge. I'm going to be going to watch the fireworks.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr.
one last thing, Mr. Hanson sends his regrets, but he did want me to tell you that there was a Sasquatch sighting in Birchdale during Pioneer Days. There were several Sasquatch sightings, and they said it was very successful 4th of July and Pioneer Days.
Yeah, that's great to do that back to back and they pull it off on volunteers.
Joanne?
Yes. What?
Do you have anything to report tonight or today?
Got Crystal.
Yeah, we have, the next item is public comment, so Ms. Plant.
Is there any way that this authority could put some pressure on the Orsi company to clean up those buildings and the large stacks of rotting cardboard that are stacked around in their driveway? All the tourists that go down to get in line to cross the bridge are slowly going by that area, and it just makes us look so bad. The buildings are in disrepair. You can see that they're slowly falling apart, and then all that rotting cardboard sitting there. It's just not a good look for us. But, you know, I don't know who can do anything about it. Perhaps letters from the attorneys or something?
It is, it's private property, yeah.
On property, but it is within the city, but there is ongoing negotiations. Leave it at that.
Oh, but
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
So I think we've heard that before, Crystal, but
Yeah.
it's being considered. Thank you. All right, next item is next meeting. How does August, I'm just looking, August 22nd, which is a Wednesday. So, that'll be the 15th. That will be gone. That will be our normal.
That would be gone on the 15th as well.
Do we go 29?
I'll be gone the 29th also.
29th airport meeting?
I don't know if it's scheduled.
Oh, it has.
You said
Well, maybe it-
22nd doesn't work?
22nd, I've got 2 meetings already on 22nd. And one's at 10, one's at 1.
Could we consider another day of that week?
23?
23rd?
Let's see, the fourth Wednesday would be the 22nd in August.
Yes.
I've got 2 meetings and I got to go to town that evening.
How does the 23rd look?
Thursday, 23rd? Does it work for you, Paul?
1 or 10?
1 is great.
Better for you?
Yeah, I get off work at noon most days.
All right.
Paul, that works for you?
Works.
1 o'clock on the 23rd.
That's
Right.
city?
That would be at the city.
City Hall.
All right, any other business?
See.
Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob.